Bienvenue sur Radio-Télévision Découverte. Aujourd'hui, nous avons un invité très spécial qui est avec nous, un réalisateur qui a plusieurs cordes à son arc, dont la composition de musique. Déjà vainqueur de plusieurs récompenses, il nous vient tout droit de Grèce.
On vous présente Monsieur Yannis Veslemes. Sorry if I mispronounce it. Welcome, Kalimera.
Kalimera. You'll be presenting your movie She Loved Blossom S'mores at the NIFFF Festival. Can you tell us more about it?
Yes, it's a story about three brothers, probably in the mid of the 80s in Greece, in Athens, that they construct a weird time machine in order to bring their long dead mother back in life. So that's the summary of it, more or less.
So yeah, it's it goes more like a little bit like a sci-fi, no? Or,
Yes, it's happening in the 80s because in the 80s there was, the idea that with the computers you could do everything. So they use their mother's wardrobe. They modified it in a way that it can bring back and forth into dimensions Winnipeg's little animals. And they have this idea that if they can send something, an animal or whatever, in another dimension, something from another dimension can come back.
Yeah, we saw like the experiments with the animals, a little bit, how do you say, morbid, yeah, trash, you know.
Morbid and it's because it's a film that's set in this era. Everything is almost everything. 80% of the film we use this kind of technology of that era. I mean, animatronics and SF special effects, practical effects, and not computer-generated things.
A few years ago, you released a music called Time Machine. Is there any connection between the movie and the music?
That was a collaborative thing with the band Mary and the Boy back in the late zeros. We wanted in that album to juxtapose music style from all the music styles and genres we loved at the time to a single album, so it was called Time Machine because it was consisted by 12 different genres. But this, if you want to find a connection in this film too, we have many genres as retro science fiction or horror films or family drama, juxtaposing.
Λοιπόν, τι κάνετε εδώ τα αγοράκια μου?
Βάζουμε ζωάκια μέσα σε μια ντουλάπα και τα στέλνουμε σε μια άλλη διάσταση.
On several occasions we see the characters using drugs. Can we say that the movie is a kind of trip, a dream?
Yes, that's a mechanism for them to fight. For me, it's to fight grief. I mean, you can see that of course they are adults. They are in their late 20s, but you can see this film if you put out the drugs, the sex, and the rock and roll. You can see it as a children fantasy film. I mean, it feels at some points like the films I was raised and people of my generation. I was born in 1979, like the Spielberg Chaplin films or Joe Dante films. Okay, in a more experimental narrative way. So the mechanism for them to fight the grief of their mother loss and their life that, they are stuck in their parents' house and all they do in a daily basis is experiments, and the way to feel kids again or to sustain that level is to use drugs, invented or imaginary or real drugs.
Yeah, like a tool for their grief. Yeah, like a.
Yes, in a story level, yes, it's a tool to fight grief and to find joy through grief. But it's and it's a habit. It has become a bad habit for them because they are into this obsession that their father led them to bring his wife back. So this obsession is painful, and drugs help them.
And there's also this idea that there's a power from the father, like they want to get out of it.
Yeah, this is a very Greek thing. I mean, families in Greek are want to feel united and strong, even when the children are getting old. I mean, it's a Mediterranean thing, but in Greece, even in the recent years, family members really want to have an urge to stick together till death separates them. So I use that motive and all the, let's say, psychoanalysis archetypes of, the mother and the father and the death of the father and the love to the mother and all and all this kind of very stereotypes, we can say.
Yeah, I remember I was there at the Q&A. I remember there was someone who come up with the question like, is this like a Oedipian complex?
Yes, in a way it is, and as we do it in the whole film, we talk seriously about these things, but same time we make fun of this, which is a difficult thing to do. I mean, to have a very serious tone and then bend to something comedic or even, silly.
Yeah, it's a sort of mockery in some way.
But still I feel, that the film stays close to its heart and feel tender and with still using this kind of, I won't call them comic reliefs, but goofy moments.
Yeah, we also see that with the score, like the music, the orchestra. Like you said also at the Q&A, like it's more like a sentimental, but also it goes on abstract or dark.
The thing was to have a moody film that changed moods even inside the one scene. I mean, you feel something for them, and then you laugh with them, and then you follow their adventure, and then you are distracted because they are tripping. I mean, everything that these dudes do, you see it from their eyes, from their perspective. And we wanted to put the audience in on their shoes. I mean, at some point they start doing mean things, bad things. They have no moral compass, and we still are with them. We try to put the audience, to their position. And so there is one reality in the film. They are tripping, it's a real thing. They are dreaming, it's a real thing. They are doing nasty things to that outsider girl.
Great actress, I have to say.
Yes, she's a friend of mine. She's a non-actor.
Oh, she's acting great.
Yes, it's because in this house the other people are, they're like dandies. They have this elegance of the old money house, and she's from the real world. She comes from the real world. She's more down to earth, and she knows what she wants, but they don't.
Πέρα από τα όρια του χωροχρόνου. Στείλ' το.
So let's talk about your career. What makes you go to music production and to now to direct the movie?
I started making short films in the late 90s, so I was primarily a film director, and I feel a film director. But then when I was in the film school, co-students wanted to have music in their films, and I was cheap. I started composing music for my films and my friends, fellow students' films, and then my fellow students became professional as me, and this thing evolved in the future, back and forth, making things for cinema or television or ads or whatever, and short films, and then feature films, and then composing for feature films. And also I'm composing music as a musician outside of cinema, releasing records and things like that.
Your name for musician is Felizol, is it right?
It was Felizol, but the last 4 years I use my real name, it's Veslemes, for all the releases the last 2 years, because I'm getting old, and to use this kind of nickname, which means something very different. In Greece it means it's a kind of plastic, Felizol. So I said, let's get rid of the old nickname and use, the real identity for both.
Yeah, we were wondering, for you, what is your top 3 movies?
There are a lot. So I will just mention the films that helped me, in my mind, develop Sea of the Blossoms more. Because the film set is inspired by the late 70s and the early 80s. There are a lot of weird, even experimental and some forgotten films like Alter States, of a Ken Russell film of the early 80s with William Hart. It's also a Joe Dante film, forgotten and a flop. It was called Explorers, and it was about 3 boys that construct a spaceship in order to go to outer space.
I think I heard about this
with
movie.
River Phoenix. And the other film is actually the sequel of The Exorcist. It's The Exorcist 2. It's a John Boorman film, another flop. But I think it's a very, I don't like nostalgia, but I like films that happened inside the system, the Hollywood system, and they were brave enough to move out of the constraints of the medium and make something unique, and these films all has this sensibility. There are even direct things in the film that resembles the cinema of David Cronenberg. But if I have to choose a film, it will be Videodrome.
Videodrome? Okay.
And Naked Lunch, because Naked Lunch is supposed to be based in William Burroughs' book, but has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the real life of William Burroughs.
Okay.
So I think in Naked Lunch it uses substances in a comfort way for the audience. I mean, he uses the hero substances in a way that the audience feels secure that what they are going to see is something that happens in his head, so they react to everything as normal. So that was the tool that we have used here too. So yes, Naked Lunch is maybe the biggest influence of David Cronenberg's.
Yeah, I really like this type of movies. It goes more on the psychological parts of the psyche.
Yeah. True.
But yeah, it's awesome. I was thinking about the names of the characters from the movie. There's Japan, Hedgehog, and Dummy. Do their names are about their personalities, or is it a critic?
In a way, yes. I mean, Hedgehog is the main protagonist, and as a hedgehog, he's hiding himself inside his cocoon, his body, so he's hiding his emotions all the time. Japan is because in the 80s everything that was made in Japan, it was high-tech technology, so he's the nerd of the bands. And Dummy, he's someone that he's doing all the hard work and not the science. So they call him in a way that families used to do with his nickname.
In some way, it explains a little bit about the role of the character, Yeah, it's awesome. And why did you choose this actor Mr. Pinon.
Dominique Pignon, yeah. I wanted to, because in here or in Paris or in New York, people have this kind of architecture, this kind of houses everywhere. But in Greece we have the ancient ruins, obviously, and then most of the Athens city is renovated, modern, blah blah. So to find this kind of house that resembles a Central Europe style, it's a British, from a British architect made in the early 1901, I think 1903.
Okay.
So we want to have something very, very different from what Athens has as a house. To have this family that with an eccentric father from abroad, from France or could have been another country of Europe. So we really wanted from the start to have this eccentric mansion with an eccentric foreign father of these Greek brothers. So Greek mother, French father and their sons. And Dominique Pignon is for me one of the best actors. And I have, when I was younger, I was in love with films of Jean-Pierre Jeunet, Delicatessen. And,
it was the first thing I was thinking when I see.
And City of Lost Children, La Cité d'Enfants Perdus, something like that in French. So that was one of my, and also Diva and also Frantic of Polanski. He has made a lot of small roles in a very distinctive films, and he was the star of this. In a way, his character resembles a little bit his character in The City of Lost Children, which is one of my favorite films. He's a scientist that he's making experiments that involve his children.
Yeah, weirder and all. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Qu'est-ce que c'est que ça? Du saigne.
We were wondering about your movie, She Loved the Blossoms More. Is it like a autobiographic movie or?
That's a good question. It's not. I mean, I love my parents. They're still alive. It is in a way that I have put a lot of experiences I have from me or from my friends or from my families of Greece. Of course, from my own family. But the point is that it's my most personal film, because it has, it resembles a little bit of me. I mean, at times it's sad, at times it's funny, at times it's awkward. For me, the best thing for the best films I have witnessed in the history of cinema, that look like their creators in a way, even if they are have stories that camouflage, their own personal stories. So it's not a direct autobiographical thing, but of course it takes, because I have also written it. It takes things from my personality and my life.
Θα γυρίσει.
Why do you choose the title? What it means?
At some point, there's a tiny scene that reveals with what she, the mother obviously, she loved blossoms more than her kids. It's the quote the protagonist writes in his notebook. So I wanted something to feel, poetic in a way. It's a phrase that it misses its end. Romantic. And because, it's a horror or science fiction or a family drama, but it also has this kind of Italian giallo sensibility and mood. And I really like these long titles, like the Italian giallo of the 70s. So yes, that's why we use this kind of title.
And do you have projects, movies in the making, or the music for movies, or just music for
Yes, this was a busy year. Have composed 3 or 4 soundtracks for other people's films, feature lengths. Of course, this kind of films I try to make. They need a lot of time. So yes, I'm in the late development of my next film, which is called North Pole.
North Pole, okay.
So North Pole probably will start filming in a couple of years if we are lucky.
You're really interested with all about the Scandinavian part, or you have a, if I remember correctly, a movie called Norway.
Yes, my first feature was called Norway, but has nothing to do with. It has a character that he's Norwegian, but he's not the main protagonist. It's that film started with a very infamous punk new wave song of the 80s of a Greek band. It's called Norway, which its lyric was Norway descends upon the Mediterranean, so the hot Mediterranean countries will be invaded by the coldness of the north, of the Norway and the other countries.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yes, and if you watch the film, you understand why it's called Norway. The same as Brazil of Terry Gilliam has nothing to do with Brazil.
Okay, it's in the same way. Okay.
People think that's a documentary about Scandinavian countries.
Okay. So congratulations for your nomination at the NIFFF. Mes félicitations pour votre nomination au NIFFF. We hope you'll get at least a prize for
Thank you.
because it was really an awesome movie.
Thank you.
It was a really good film. We really enjoy it, and good luck for the competition.
Cool, thank you very much.
Merci à tout le monde d'avoir suivi notre interview avec Monsieur Veslemes et à la prochaine.